Lynn Kennedy, Geordie Journos live at Craven Cottage. Give you a little pan around to see if you guys can see around the pitch. We've seen all the players do their warm downs. Marco Silva was just down there talking to a few people. Pan around. Come back to my ugly mug. You can see here where we are, Craven Cottage. I'm so happy. So happy. It's because I'm really weird after what I've just watched. But I can actually see you guys, your comments today, which was a big pain in the backside. Was it this time last week? It was at Wolves, wasn't it? That was a bit grim, that, like. I think what it does, I think there was a lot of papering over the cracks in recent times, and I think most normal thinking Newcastle United fans kind of felt that this was built on sand, what had happened so far this season. And I suppose those chickens just came home to roost a little bit today, didn't they? It wasn't, this isn't the Newcastle United of last season. It's not even close. It isn't close to the Newcastle United of the season previous. They're just not functioning in the same way, in the same manner that they did. But some of it's, you know, it's self-inflicted. We're seeing a lot of individual errors this season. We're also seeing the midfield problem that's existed, because when the midfield works, it's incredible, but when it doesn't, it gets swamped by technical players. Emile Smith-Rowe had the run of the first half, the whole of that big gap in behind. Iwobi got into spaces. The midfield's not right. Eddie Howe's got 5 players in there who he can decide from, and it's just still not right. I'm actually going to, cause we missed them so much last week and none of you guys got a chance to actually comment. You just had to listen to me waffle on for 15 minutes. I'm actually going to jump straight in the comments and see what you guys are saying rather than hear what my thoughts are, and I'll kind of, today, I'll react to a little bit of what you guys are saying. Of course, I want to remind everybody that the Geordie Journos live stream is sponsored by Four Rivers Financial Planning, as it always is. And the long form video later on will be done by myself, Jordan Cronin of Newcastle World, and of course Dominic Skur of the Shields Gazette. All 3 of us will be on there very soon. We'll try and get that video up as soon as we possibly can. Obviously, it is difficult being at these places, getting things up straight away, but we'll try our best. Right, I'm going to go right to the start of the comments. Do keep them coming in. There's 55 of you guys on here. 6 people liked it. Let's see some more likes. You know, it helps the world go around. There's also a thanks button if you do like this kind of thing. Right, Nathan Page, hi Liam. Hi Nathan, mate. Phil Cross, you look absolutely buzzing, mate. No, I'm not. Obviously, you know, you've got to smile through these things sometimes. It'd be daft to sit here and say that I haven't seen an away performance like that a million times before, because we have. There's been a lot of them under Eddie Howe, to be fair. However, it's just a little bit more. This is just not right. David Bartel, all right, Liam, what an awful performance. Agree, mate. Thanks for tuning in. Do keep your comments coming. Paul Charlton, how out? It's a strong one, Paul. I think there are certain things. Sorry. Jordan Cronin's walking along.
I was just saying, please don't come to me for an immediate reaction.
I know, I want to.
I don't know.
So obviously we've got the comments on today. Here's Jordan Cronin, who's literally just come now from speaking to Eddie Howe. There's 73 of you guys on here. Give it a like. Like I said, makes the world go round, and there's a thanks button if you love all the live stuff, because we always just do this off our own back straight after games. Right, I want to know what was said down there.
So the thing that really struck me was Eddie Howe actually questioned whether it was right to the change that he made at the start. So he actually took responsibility for his team selection, which in that first half, probably with the benefit of hindsight, probably didn't get it right. Joe Willock coming in, that was the main one I think he sort of questioned, because he didn't have an impact at all. I don't know.
I'm doing this or that. What have I got from down there?
Anyway, but yeah, he was. He questioned if he'd actually got his team selection right. Had really no complaints over the result in the end. Didn't want to criticise individual stars, obviously, out because there's a lot of bad performances out there. I don't know if you've touched upon that yet.
I've literally just come on.
A lot of bad individual performances from big players as well, which he didn't want to criticise them, as he never individually criticises players. But yeah, I think main reflections is he did question his team selection, and was asked about the introduction of Tonali, why he didn't bring him on earlier. But he said it was his choice. So yeah, there's a lot of digest, I would say. But main reflections is I think he accepts the defeat.
What do you think of it?
What I think of it?
Alright, quick, because we'll do the analysis and you've got stuff to do.
Yeah,
so.
as I say, first half miles off it. But it was one of them. I didn't really feel like Newcastle were going to get back into the game, but then you look back at it, Fabian Schär's missed a great chance at for 2-2.
Got a score.
Shock and miss. He's also got two players free in the middle as well at pass to. But obviously it's rush of blood like that. It's immediate. Usually you're back in the score them actually, even though it's a centre half, straight in the side net. But I didn't actually feel like Newcastle were going to get back in the game. As I say, you look at it, and they probably had the chances to. That Schär one in particular. But you look at errors today. Pope error, Bruno error, Schär error. Just errors across the park. Even the two centre halves, I mentioned Schär, Burn didn't have his best afternoon. There was a lot of really poor individual performances out there. That's cost Newcastle. But what I would say as well, quickly, is it's also a reflection of where they played, how they played this season. They haven't played well this season. In recent results, they've almost got away with it. Today it all came to a head and they were deservedly beaten. They could have lost any of the opening 4 Premier League games before today, with the way they played, the way the games have flowed. But today was, in my opinion, a deserved defeat, and probably one on the face of it was coming.
So how do you think Eddie Howe, just to let this person pass with his equipment, doing a proper job? How do you feel Eddie Howe conducted himself in the interview? There's a lot of people coming on here quite critical of Eddie Howe. What were your? Did he look? Did he look his usual professional self? Was he upset? Was he passionate? Was he just not that at all?
I would say just his usual self. I wouldn't say he's particularly downbeat. I think he recognises that there's problems, there's obvious frustrations there because the team isn't clicking. That was one of the questions: why isn't the team clicking? Well, he keeps going back to the summer about the mixed pre-seasons for people. So how long can that be used as sort of an excuse? They've been back essentially 2 months now, or longer if you want to include pre-season. They've been here from August, now middle of September, playing Premier League games. Things haven't improved, so how long can you be able to look upon that? But I wouldn't say he's particularly downbeat. I just think there's obvious frustrations, whether that be team selection, individuals, the way the team's performing as a whole. There's a lot of food for thought, and it's up to Eddie Howe ultimately to find the answers. But based on today's performance, I do think there's a lot of players who need to hold accountability as well, because I don't think you can just blame that on the manager. I think if you look at past games, maybe yes, but today was individually players was really quite bad actually, from some really big names.
Right, there's Jordan's thoughts. I'm going to watch him. Here he is, grabbing his laptop, and he's away up to go to the stands. Different trip hour. That's where you'll find the Geordie journals on any given match day. At Craven Cottage. Spin round here again just to give you a little bit of a sense, because there's a lot more people on now than were on before, just to give you a sense of what Craven Cottage is like after the end of the game. I don't know if I can focus in on it, but there's Emile Smith-Rowe getting an interview down there. There's BBC Radio Newcastle's Matthew Raisbeck waiting around in the player mix zone to see if he can get anybody after the game. See if there's any more up here. Oh, there he is. Popping his head up. Some blokes backside as well. A few others. There's John Anderson, Lee Ryder, the usual suspects. Anyway, just thought I'd give you a little bit of a wander, a look around, see what's going on. Right, I'm going to jump back in the comments because that was some really good stuff from Jordan. Maybe it gives you a little bit of a snap reaction as to what Eddie Howe said after the game. 138 you guys on there. I'm only seeing 20 likes. Any chance you could give it a little like, helps share it around, and obviously we want as many people to watch and get involved in these conversations as possible, because it's kind of what we do. Anyway, Where are we at? Dean C, cue the meltdown. Ah, it's possible, mate. Nathan Page, do you think the off-field noise is affecting the players? It's actually a really good question. I'm gonna have to have a think about that. Look, I've said it on here for a while now. I don't believe all is well. I think everybody knows the much documented issues that are at play in Newcastle United. Do I think it's affecting the players? I don't, but I do think it's affecting the manager, which in turn affects the players. So in short, yes, I think it could be, but I don't think it's a direct influence. I do believe it's potentially through the manager. We put the brick on the accelerator. Formation, team selection, motivation, inspiration, intensity. Eddie, responsible for all these things, have been absent since the turn of the year. It is also our information as well as the information of others, and it's been reported that James Bunce has had a big impact on what is going on the training pitch at Newcastle United. So I do think that may have some answers with regards to intensity, but I couldn't say with any degree of certainty. But the rest of it, as you say, it's all on Eddie Howe. Where are we at? Mark, we are terrible performance. Don't mind losing, but that was a stinker. Performances matter. Gordon looks like he's not interested. Tonali must start. JC, rubbish, mate. We've been lucky and not played well 5 games. Eddie must be losing his credit. I don't think he's necessarily losing his credit, but I do think it happens. Teams reach, it goes in cycles. This team has not really significantly been refreshed for nigh on 2 years now. Yes, they made signings in the summer. Harvey Barnes has had an impact. He's been probably Newcastle's best player of the season, realistically, with the goal contributions, even though he hasn't started too many games. But the team hasn't been refreshed, and these cycles happen. I think it looks like a team in need of refresh, which just brings the summer and the lack of business really into the fore, which is a disappointment. I'm going to focus in here. I've just spotted somebody on the Craven Cottage pitch. Little treat for you here before I come back into the comments. Let's flip it around. Can you focus in enough to get this? Well, there's Matthew Raisbeck of BBC Radio Newcastle giving you a wave. Are you waiting for pros? None. Oof. It wasn't Matthew Raisbeck I was going to focus in on, but you can just see him. Like, it's Declan Donnelly. You probably can't see him. It's not a great camera, but that is Declan Donnelly. There you go, maybe just make it there. Anyway. Oof. Don't want to be that close. 162 of you guys on here. Thanks for the 35 likes. Do jump in the comments. I'm going to go through every single comment tonight. I'll stay on as long as you guys want to keep chatting. Don, hi everyone. Hi mate, thanks for joining. Nathan Page, Gordon's attitude. You want us to address the Gordon attitude thing? That's twice been mentioned by people in comments. I can only be honest and say what I say. I haven't actually been all that mad on his body language in the last couple of games. Jordan Cronin will attest to my opinions I was given in the Wolves game, which I didn't go public with, but I was not impressed by some of the body language that he showed in that game. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I do think he's a really effective player. I don't think he's actually playing as well as he can. He still needs to work on the final product thing. I think it'll come. I think it'll come as long as he gets his head down and keeps that attitude right. It will come. We'll put the brake on the accelerator again. We can't even market set pieces properly, never mind make chances from them. It's a fair point. Gary Kilverton, Eddie Howe is looking like Southgate now. He has his favourites and sense of safety and is blind to everything else. Gordon today looked like a spoilt brat, moaning, diving and complaining. Yeah, I wasn't impressed. Happens. I'm not going to criticise too much. Players have on days, off days, but I wasn't that impressed by what I've seen from him today. Andy Foley, do you think the shit show off the pitch, or it's a family show, I shouldn't repeat that, fucking shit show, eventually filters down onto the pitch? The result has been come for weeks. The club needs a massive kick up the arse. Some choice language there, but I suppose it's fair. I do think the club needs a kick up the arse, and who knows, that kick up the arse might not be too far away. We'll have to wait and see on some fronts, but who knows. I think you're right. It needed a kick up the arse in the summer. and it got a little bit of a 1 in some respects, but this power struggle is just grim, and it is really overshadowing what potentially probably should have been a pivotal season for Newcastle United this season. David Partell, Tony performance below par. Bruno, Joelinton, Isak not showing any form, and Gordon looks like his heart is at Liverpool. I don't know if his heart's at Liverpool, but he doesn't look the same player. Bruno's worst in Newcastle United colours. There's Dom Skir. We've got a couple of quick words for the live. Jordan's been on, so we may as well get them on.
Afternoon or evening?
Evening, just saying, there's Declan Donald over there. I was trying to get him on, but this camera doesn't. It's not good enough.
Friend of the channel.
Friend of the channel, Declan Donald. Right.
It's just been coming, hasn't it? Newcastle have flattered to deceive all season, and I think that culminated today. We were driving down this morning saying Newcastle won the last 5 at Fulham, and you're thinking they're probably due
One,
almost a battering, and I think they were battered in the first half. They got better in the second half. Eddie Howe made the changes. Asked Eddie Howe, he made 4 changes today. Why did he think that midfield he named and the change in the fullbacks gave his side the best chance of winning? And he spoke about the form of Harvey Barnes and then the impact Joe Willock made against Wolves. No real explanation why Sandro Tonali didn't start the game, but yeah, the changes ultimately. Lloyd Kelly, who I thought was probably Newcastle's best player in the first half, not saying much of course, he comes off. I thought Lewis Hall added a bit more intent going forward, and obviously Jacob Murphy sets up the goal for Harvey Barnes. But after that, in many ways, it probably was a reality check after a good start to the season, but ultimately one where performances have been not as bad as today, but certainly it was no real surprise that Newcastle played like they did today. The end results, they could have potentially snuck a draw if Fabian Shepard's that chance away, but they wouldn't have deserved it. So, yeah.
Right, save some for the. We'll not be able to talk. We've had roll on the live. For that reason, I'll not drag on too long, but I'm going to go through every single one of your comments now and make little comments myself. So if you have something to say and you want a question answered, do fire it in. And if I can't answer it, I'll shout up to the boys who are just there, settling in behind. Right. Yeah, sorry, Bruno, that was his worst performance. Joelinton's not been the same. I thought he was better in the second half, actually. Isak, it's a thankless task at the moment playing as a centre forward in this team. It's just not right. You wouldn't want anybody playing it. I think you could have literally the best player on the planet playing that role, and they'll be feeding off scraps at the moment. Nathan Page, a fan, has said Gordon left alone. Not sure how true that is. I have no idea either. Julio Jorio, I'll get rid of Howe. I've said for ages he won't take us to that next level. Lewis Moore, this has been coming. I can't disagree with that. Barry Cope, Hailem Tonali has to play. Can't believe Shea never squared it. I'll have to see that one again. I don't blame him for taking the shot on, but I'll have to see it again to see if it's glaringly obvious that he should have passed. I'm not so sure. Stephen Southern, really poor again. High press has gone. High press has disappeared. It does not exist. This team is not a pressing team. There is barely any press in it at all. Dawn, we have to cut out the unenforced error. Has been so many this season. That was really costly today. Kev Ford, Bruno, Gordon, Isak, all extremely poor. No fight attitude, poor feel. Sorry for Eddie. There's Joe from the Shield Gazette. We'll get him on. He's not one of the Geordie journalists, but he travels with me. Come on then, give us a quick 60 seconds on what you thought of that one.
That was rubbish. It was rubbish. Started rubbish and finished rubbish. There was about 10 minutes in the middle with Harvey Barnes. To be fair, it's a brilliant strike from Barnes, and we've spoke lots of times in the car, haven't we? Me, you and the rest of the Geordie journals. What does Barnes bring to this team? And that's what he brings, that sort of finisher. But other than that, it wasn't very good. It's been coming. I'm sure you've said them words multiple times in this. It has been coming, and it's a massive game against Wimbledon now, isn't it? Yeah, that's it really. I think it's been coming. They've got to dust themselves off, and huge game on Tuesday.
A lot of people throwing some criticism towards Eddie Howe in these comments. I'm struggling to throw too much at him either.
Yeah, I think it's difficult for him because no new signings means they've got to go with pretty much the same team that majority of last season, bar Tonali really. It's always going to be a struggle. I do think that sometimes it can be they get beat a little tactically, but they improved it in the second half, and you can't really complain because they did improve that in the second half.
No, go on, I'll take one out. Cheers, mate. Oh, they look after you here at Fulham.
Have you seen Deck? I was going to get Deck of Ant in Deck.
Yeah, no, I've seen him. I was trying to get him on yesterday. Oh, I might. Cheers, Joe. Right, I'm going to jump back in the comments. We'll have a cameo. Kev Ford, Bruno, Gordon, Isak, all extremely poor. No fight attitude, poor. Feel sorry for Eddie, Easter and Mag. Something seems off at the club, but could it just be early season lack of fitness and form? Possibly. David Bartel, Liam, do you think? But it does run deeper, by the way. David Bartel, do you think that Bruno being made captain has disrupted team morale? The team is looking deflated. I don't think he was the most natural pick in some respects to be captain. However, I was all for it, and I do think he is a leader in his own very unique way. It may have disrupted some, I think it has. But I think that can be getting over quite quick because he's a very popular member of the squad. I don't think it's because he's unpopular. Martin Body, evening. Seems to be a general malaise around the club. Off the pitch, rumblings, and on the pitch, the players look interested. I think that's disinterested. Not bothered, and there seems to be no plan. What's the team style? I don't know what the team style is at the moment. I think it's very hard to discern what kind of team they're wanting to be. The counter-attack stuff kind of works. They're not good enough really to control games on the ball. I think they're really struggling with that. And the midfield's not right. The midfield balance is all wrong. I've seen a lot of people call for Joe Willock in the team, and I said not to bring him in the team. And the reason I wouldn't bring him in the team is because when you're on top, running into spaces, playing on the counter, he's very effective. Flip it round, and when you're having to try and recover the ball and win the ball and get yourselves into a game and battle into a game, Joe Willock's not there, and that's, he's not fit either. So it's horses for courses. I like him as a footballer. I just don't think he's suited to every game, and he wasn't suited to today. I would have played Longstaff and Tonali, as I said in the Geordie Journals video on Thursday night that we did from the Walker Dome with Bruno. But he could have made a case for every single one of them that started today not to start the next game. Jan Levens, I would sell Gordon and Bruno in January or the summer for 180 million and get 4 class players in and change the manager. It's big changes. C84, the 3 players were ourselves about losing were all crap today. Isak, Bruno and Gordon, waste of shirts. Gary D, the most worrying thing for me is 5 games and nothing has changed. What's happening in training? C84, if this was Bruce start of the season, we'd be calling for his head. JC, Bruno just let ESR run off him for the second goal. He's been crap since getting the armband. Bill Railton, we've got away with it from start of the season, but not today. You can't play like we did in the first half and give goals away like we did and expect to get anything. We are absolutely awful. Ours, Gordon and Pope were both crap. C84 is what you use that word today. C4, the captaincy. Players supposed to be leaving, they're not. Problems with backroom staff, it's all a mess really. Dean C, need to get back to all cylinders firing or we'll snowball down the league. Graham Towler, Eddie needs to become harder, not so much everyone's best friend. Rob Bell, does this have anything to do with Bunce and his performance directing? The players look unrecognisable. I think, Rob, I don't know if you were tuned in earlier on, but I did mention that in depth and how I do believe that the introduction of James Bunce is having an impact on this team. Ours, Eddie's doing his best. People need to stop giving him flack. We are sitting in a decent position. Dean C, loads of heads down, something ain't right. LG, Gordon being played on the right and at the centre is not working. JC, in the back of his and the entire staff's heads, there is a cushy England job waiting, whether it's said or not. It doesn't seem like everybody is committed as before. Terry Hogg, why don't goalkeepers catch the ball anymore? Graham Towler, since the sporting director and the other 2 stooges have appeared, things have become depressing. Ours, Pope was but a pony. Isak, what I want. Paul Mitchell has had a negative effect on the playing squad. He hasn't really had an impact on the playing squad, but like I said earlier, I do believe there's some sense of a knock-on effect at play here. Where are we? LG, Tonali should have started. Kelly is a centre-back, not a left-back. He's playing people out of position. I thought Kelly was alright in the first half, actually. I think he was really unfair to be brought off, but Hall, attacking-wise, is a different kettle of fish. The Coral Mumpus. I like it. Do you think Pope has problems dealing with shots low to his left or diving and holding on the ball? Psychological after the injury or protecting it? Seen him do strange things versus Fulham, Spurs and Forest. I've seen the same strange things, and I'm not really sure. But I will ask some questions. I've seen those strange parries and movements that look very unnatural. Be interesting to know. There was big concerns that has he got in to play a full season, and we don't know that yet. He's done all right so far. hasn't shown any signs of injury, so we just need to hope. He made a bad mistake today, but you know, he's been good for Newcastle this season, and they all make them, and it didn't prove as costly as could have done because of Bruno's absolute brain fart at the end when he's pushing to try and get the ball up the field. Gary Lay, I think that's the worst I've seen so far this season. Wide open to counter, just like last season. Bruno anonymous. Joe Linton can't pass a ball. Gordon doesn't look like he wants to be there at times. Tug Wilson asked last week if we were a good team playing bad or a bad team playing lucky. We're a bad team who have run out of luck. The league table is lying. Something is wrong. Eddie Howe is offered. I do think that actually it's hard to judge. They might get better, they might get worse, who knows. I kind of feel like this is them, which is what I've said all season, that I don't really think they're any more than where they were last season. I think that's about where they'll finish. I don't think they've added significant enough quality or made steps enough forward to suggest that they will finish any higher than they did. Play like this too often, and in some of the games that they could have lost every single one this season, they didn't, of course, so let's not be too negative, but play like that and they might even struggle for that position. Dean C, the new structure has totally rocked the boat. It's worrying how long this will continue. Jason Wong, you're totally spot on, Gary. We could have easily been 4 down at half time. Dr. Rocco, how out? LG, I think Gordon is pissed about being on that list to be sold. Alan Tyre, how out? Bit much. I agree too. James Brighton, this was inevitable. We got away with poor performances, but it was going to catch up with us eventually. LG Bonds, top scorer for the tune. John Spence, Eddie has to take responsibility for this shambles. Howe is just moaning about Mitchell. Just get on with the job, Eddie, for fuck's sake. Graham Towler, poor recruitment in the last few windows is now beginning to show the effects. Alan Thompson, seriously Liam, did anybody expect us to beat Fulham today? I didn't. Might sound like hindsight, but I've been saying all week I think we were due one down here, as Dom alluded to. That's what we talked about in the car. Oz gets some interviews. LG, Mitchell was right, it wasn't fit for purpose. Magpie Ranger, the worry is we've been outclassed in every game and Howe doesn't know his best team. The midfield seems slow and pedestrian. That's not going to change. There isn't really anybody that he can bring in that really significantly changes the way that midfield plays, and it's the way Howe for 2 years has wanted his midfield to play, by the way. And when it works, it's spectacular, but when it doesn't, it's like today. But we've seen this coming, we know it's not new, it's a problem that's always been there. Northumberland Rock Hopper, well, a result like this was coming, I'm sorry, but I don't believe for 1 minute we're as good as most of the fans think we are. I thought we would get beat today. Fulham have bought well. Davey, Eddie, Liam, our formation is so predictable, needs a shake up. I agree with that. Dr. Rocco, Howe has been found out, get him out. Robbo 0590. I'm sorry, but Howe has got to go. The press has gone. Our midfield is dead and Isak gets no service. Murphy is great for morale, but he's not a club player who should be starting or getting on. I'm interested by some of this how out stuff. Come in and let us know what you really do think. There's a few of you saying that. I think it's a little bit reactionary, but that's not criticism of anybody's opinion. That's what one thing you'll always get on here is come in, share your opinions, and you'll always get a fair answer and fair reflection. I really respect everybody who comes on here and gives their opinions. Come on, lads, lasses. 173 is on here, 55 like. We can do better than that. Anyway, Jason Wong. We don't seem to DNA at the moment. We've seen Wolves sitting back and counter-attack with ease. What's ours? We seem to struggle to string passes. Ian Nicol. I wonder why he isn't starting to gnarly. Bad performance from other players. Lethargic, uninterested and slow. So slow. Also how substitutions and the timing of the substitutions are still crap. Ours give over up with defo matter. Robbo 0590, it's a worry about surviving till January. We put the brake on the accelerator. The 4-3-3 system is dead in 2024. Our midfield is overrun, forwards isolating, defence exposed. Week after week it has to go, but Howe seems wedded to it. I actually do agree with that. I think, like I said earlier, if they were unable to freshen this team up, which has cycles, they're unable to freshen this team up for around 2 years, he should have probably made some tactical changes, and I don't really feel he's done that, which is on the manager in my opinion. Isak, what I want. Our counter-attacking play on transition is non-existent. Isak getting no service. I feel sorry for Isak, he's getting nothing. Must be so frustrating for the lad. LG, we aren't getting top 8 playing like this, as the last 5 games have been shocking. Ali B1, awful game, too many problems to even mention. I don't know what they're going to do to fix it, but it needs done fast. John Mitchinson, Gordon's body language was disgraceful. Davey Eddie, it's so inconsistent. Old angry noob gamer having a cuppa with a packet of Biscoff. Sounds alright. Julio Jorio, do you think the high press has been stopped by Buns? I don't think the high press has been stopped by Buns, but I do think things have been altered in terms of the way that the team trains, and I do think that's had a knock-on effect on the conditioning and other things. But I'm just speculating. I know it's had an impact. I couldn't say exactly how, but that's just my opinion where I think it probably has. Ali B1, can he not start Tonali? Gordon's body language is awful. Bruno's still not there yet. Willock sacrificed, but it should have been J7 and Gordon on the performance. Gordon could have been hooked much earlier. I was saying that to the lads. I would have hooked him much earlier today. Trini, Media, Corporate. Gordon was supposed to come off at half time. Robert 0590, what do you think about the rumours about Tuchel? Never heard them. Parallax View, mid-table team. Stevie Warnock. Dan Burn was so poor. I did 2 centre-halves were awful, I thought, today. Really bad games. Fabian Schär's come back from that ban. I know he scored last week, but he's come back from that ban just not the same. And Dan Burn had a real struggle again today. Ali B1. We need to try Kelly as left centre back. He isn't a left back and provide cover for Hall's defensive limitations potentially. I think he lacks the height, which I think is a problem, and I think that's what Howe likes. But I think he's a better footballer, clearly. And I like Dan Burn, but it's just not working for him at the moment. Isak, what I want. Liam, what needs to be done behind the scenes, in your opinion, to resolve the situation? I've said it all along. Darren Eales needs to be banging heads together. Sod all of this he said, she said in the public domain. Bang some heads together and sort it out. You are the manager of these people. You've got a best-in-class coach in many ways. And to some respect, he needs to tactically improve. But you've got one of the best in class in that respect in this country. And then you've got another, one of the most highly regarded, renowned sporting directors on the planet. And they're falling out with each other. And you're all letting this happen. The communication's all wrong. You're not communicating what decisions are being made. You're not telling people who's coming in and when. It's on you, mate. Sort it. That's my opinion. Jed Headley. Never know what is the tactics. Never know. Sorry, mate, I cannot read here. Never know what is the tactics. They are non-existent. James Brighton, we seem to be lacking intensity we had last season. Old angry noob gamer again. What do you think about the rumours about the rumours about the I see you. Graham Towler, it's as though a few years in it needs a complete reboot. Robert 0590 would be more effective left back. I'd be more effective than left back than there. I think you lost me for a Don Pearson, I'm going to have to keep getting through these comments. I'm going to get chucked out. Craven Cottage, do some more videos. The club stood still in the summer. Ali B1, gaps in midfield all over the place. John Spence, we've taken 2 steps forward and 5 back. James Wong, judging by our recent performances, we'd be hammered at home to Man City. Davey Eddie, I'd play Kelly centre half. Ian McKenna, let the hyperbole commence. Graham Towler, hopefully the reboot will be Wimbledon and kickstart the season. David Bartel, do you think we need to play the backup players on Tuesday or rest them for Man City? I'd probably mix the team up in the next few days. Yeah, I think it's a given. Ali B1, poor leadership from Eales to have not nipped this in the bud, and Bunce affecting training could be a factor and loss of intensity. Ali B, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Marco 4863, Gordon's been dreadful. I believe his heart's in Liverpool. Brian B, tactically we look inept. I back Howe, but man, he needs to figure something out in training because these guys are not playing to their levels. Davey Eddie, Eales, Mitch and Bunce look mad as hell today. Got a feeling they'll want their own man in. B Taylor, do you think Bunce is having a negative effect on the team? No, I don't. Ian McKenna, a little bit, not sure what that means. Tony Timebridge, very reactionary for me. Tonali has to start. Bulk and Mark, cheers mate. Robert 0590, if PIF are as ambitious as we led to believe, then surely Howe will come under some pressure. Alan Patterson, it was Longstaff's fault. Yes, it was. Always sure Longstaff's fault. Nathan Page hit the likes, everyone. Appreciate that, Nathan, mate. Everybody should. 161 of you guys, and I've done 35 minutes. A waffle. 65 likes. Give us a few more, man. JC went to 4-2-3-1, second half. Be interesting to see if we line up there against Wimbledon. I like that. I like that formation by nature. I'd like to see them try it. Marco 4863, got to be Mackin saying how out. B Taylor, why didn't Tonali start? Nathan Page, I think PRF of the corners to fire Eales. Interesting. Lots of questions for you, Nathan Page. I'm going to have to get through as much as I can. Alan Patterson, Klopp's very soon. Marco 4863, Gordon looked as if he was going to give up. Tony Timebridge, I don't know what that's saying. Graham Towler, I believe it was financial restability, so I had to leave, but needs someone from the front to front the media who's similar to bring the feel-good factor back. Eales needs moving on. Gary D, Marco 4863, don't know what that means. Ricardo Vos is dual into midfielder, never has been and never will be in my opinion. I think he's a left forward. Davey Eddie, 2 major mistakes cost us. Shocking mistakes, Pope and Bruno had the Shaw miss as well. Tony Timebridge, Liam taking apart a lock-in at the cottage. It'll happen. It's going to happen on one of these grounds one of these days. Alan Patterson Stavey will be bankrupt. I don't know anything about that. No idea. Tony Gordon's heads in Liverpool. Marco 463, do agree that Liverpool's turned his head. Davey Eddie, I can't have a pop at Eddie. I just feel there is trouble ahead regarding our management. And Alan Patterson, players want Howe out. How do you train a team to play as bad as that? Terry Hogg, a lot of fans more negative than the team. Right, thank you so much for that live. 36 minutes. I've got to go and do some work. We've got to let us go and do some work as the lads continue to beaver away. I'm focusing on up there. There he is. Tom. The Joker, as ever, messing on. Right, I'm going to go and join them and do some work. Thank you so much for everybody who joined in the live. It's gone on longer than we ever thought, but here we go. We'll roll again, the Geordie Journos, and we'll be back with a video very, very soon. Really digging deep on everything that we've seen here and what we think the future holds. Thank you everybody for all those likes, comments, shares and subscribes. I'll see you soon. Cheers guys.